OMG, did you all see the ending to the game in Sacramento? Orange County down 1-2, and who else but Mr. Shutout, Colin Shutler, an equalizing header in the 96th minute to steal a point in Sacramento. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the upcoming Pittsburgh match. We got more than just that to talk about. We're going to have fun. Let's do this. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Zamora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Helping me out for this episode, first, the one that was actually at the match this past weekend, got to experience and enjoy all that excitement. Mr. Dylan, how were you feeling at the end of the match Saturday?
Jubilant. Yeah, that felt really special. And I hadn't really felt that level of joy at an Orange County game. And I will say I obviously missed quite a few games the last two seasons, but since the final. And I understand that was a 1-point game at the beginning of the year, but wow, that was sublime.
It was sublime. And like our post-match recap said, I believe it said Orange County wins 2-2, which is, I think we all feel like with the way the game was played and the way it played out, we all consider this a win, taking a point in that match, because in the 95th minute, I think we all thought this was a 0-point match. Also helping us out today, we got Mr. Brad and company. Brad, how we doing?
I'm doing quite well. It's finally time for the regular season as we know it, and we're in full stealing point on the road shenaniganery in the most odd way. I mean, we're going to talk about Colin Shutler a lot more, but how often do you get to say there's a goalie goal and apparently that you scored two on set pieces against one of the best set piece defending people in the league?
Well, apparently, I believe that was only the third time in USL Championship history that a goalie scored, but I would probably bet a lot of money that that was the latest in a match. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? I usually goalies score late, so maybe I'm wrong, but Dylan's like looking at it right now to try to see if he can find an answer. Hey, we got one other person that's just waiting patiently to be introduced. That's Mr. Larry. I know, Larry, you weren't enjoying most of that match. For most of it, you were a little bit frustrated. I think we all were. But hey, a point on the road in that kind of match, you have to at least be excited, happy.
I'm incredibly excited. I mean, for starters, 125 days since we last got to see our boys out on the pitch. 125 days. That is forever in a soccer fan's life. So going up there, going to Sacramento against the best number one power ranked team in the USL Championship, and getting a tie up there on their pitch, that's a win all day, every day.
Well, and let's just say this, right? It was probably the best match of the weekend when it comes to the USL. Not only just, the fact that it was Orange County and Sacramento, and not only because you had a Colin Shutler, a goalie scoring in the 96th minute, but you had two of the four nominees for goal of the week were in that match. The young player out of League One for Sacramento had two amazing. I actually honestly think it was his other goal that should have been the nominee for goal of the week, not the header, because I think that left foot, being that he's a righty, and the blast with his left foot in the near post where Shutler was, just couldn't react quick enough. I think Amon should have been the goal nominee or the nominee for goal of the week, if I can get that out correctly. But yeah, what an amazing opening week. Not just Orange County, Sacramento. It was just exciting this opening week. I know many of us were watching or paying attention to the matches across the league. I know Brad's current hometown team was the first one to get on the scoreboard for the season, but unfortunately the result didn't come up the way Vegas fans, I think, wanted it to go. But pretty fun opening week. Let's talk about this Sacramento match, though, Orange County, Sacramento, because I know that's why everyone is here. I'm going to start with Dylan first, because Dylan was the person at this match. So he had the bird's eye view, the best view in the house of everything going on. Give us your breakdown of the match. First half, second half, and the stoppage time there at the end, Dylan.
Well, first off, where we were sitting wasn't exactly the best spot, but also when you are many drinks deep, maybe I didn't have the best view of everybody out of this game. That being said, wow, there's a lot to take in here. I think right from the get-go, it's kind of obvious that Orange County was the second best team on the field, and that it was really going to be probably Sacramento's night, and it was a matter of time. I was kind of surprised it took half an hour, and then it did feel like they took their foot off the gas once they scored a little bit. But you know what? If you can play poorly, and we played poorly, and still managed to get a point on the road against the better teams in the league, that's great. We definitely stole something from this match, and that's maybe worth celebrating, even if it is the first week of the year.
Maybe if it's middle of the season and this is the result, we're a little bit more disappointed. But first match of the season, I think we all anticipated there would be a little bit of rust or whatever we want to call it heading into this first match. No one's really gotten to see much out of this team except for that final preseason doubleheader day, the match against Las Vegas. Some of the fans got a chance to see. But, I mean, interesting. The ending, did it end at least in a way that sent you home happy? And how did the traveling fans celebrate that goal, Dylan?
Yes. So that goal was scored basically right in front of us, or as close to as in front of us as you can be at that stadium. And we went insane. I think I was just jumping around, hugging everybody that was around us, and yelling a whole bunch. And I know Brad made some comment that my shirt was off. Of course, my shirt was off. We scored a goal. What do I care? And I think any time that you score a 95th minute equalizer, it's going to feel like you won. It doesn't matter if we came 1-0 down to draw 1-1. If we were 8-0 down at the half and we drew 8-8, I don't care. There's only one better feeling, which is a last second winner. And I think basically what you saw from the team on the pitch, and Marcus Nakin attempting a very bad rugby tackle on Colin Shutler, was more or less what we were doing in the stands, with a little less tackling on the bleachers.
And can you just share with us what was the reaction from the Sacramento fans in that moment, from what you could see in the stadium? I know you were just busy celebrating, so you might not even have noticed it, but did you catch any reactions from the Sacramento fans after that equalizer?
Yeah, well, most of them left in the 80th minute, so those who were left were definitely booing. There was a guy who was like 5-10 rows in front of us who was kind of talking trash the whole game, lighthearted, and I think he was probably a little upset, but like in a nice, respectful way. But yeah, I just want to stress that opening night, most of the Sacramento fans started leaving early in a 2-1 game.
Very interesting. That is a very interesting thing to see there. Opening night, I wouldn't be leaving early unless there was an absolute reason to do so. But hey, that's the way things happen there. Let me go to you, Brad. I'll get your overall thoughts on this match, but I want to ask you this question. Were there any surprises when you saw the starting lineups in your mind that maybe, did any of it have you worried?
Well, I think from what we know from media day and kind of our conversations with players before the season has begun, that there were a couple names that were going to be omitted. I think my biggest surprise was I heard Dylan Powers was injured, but he ended up on the 18 for the match itself. But other than that, the players who we thought were not going to be in were filled in with players that probably we thought would take those spots. Kyle Scott, obviously, we all knew that he was going to be a couple weeks at the longest, hopefully sooner. But I think that Sofian I hope I'm saying his name right, came in and did quite an admirable job against one of the better teams in the league that only got better on the attack.
Yeah, definitely. And just overall, what are your thoughts on this match? What did you like? What did you not like? Just share.
Yeah. Honestly, if Ashton Miles, his first goal went 6 inches deeper, I think that we would be talking about that goal almost as much as the Colin Shutler goal. That would be probably another goal of the week nomination. He wrapped his leg around the defender and sent it, and I honestly thought it went in, but Seth Kisipli, killed all doubt when the ball went in after his header. But we're talking, obviously Seth Kisipli and Colin Shutler are your leading Orange County goal scorers this year, which is incredibly weird. Makes me happy I did away with the first goal prediction contest part of the predictions, because I would have Larry yelling at me here that why would you keep these two guys on? But in all seriousness, with this game, Sacramento came out and played a lot better than I thought they would. They definitely improved. This Trevor Amon kid he's mean business, and they are still a defensive stalwart in this league and made Orange County turn the ball over frequently.
Can I say this? I wish you would have kept that first goal scorer on there or whatever, because I believe more than once last season I picked Colin Shutler as the first goal scorer for Orange County. Although he wasn't in this match.
Been wrong.
Yeah, I would have been wrong, but I at least would have felt really great because I would have put his name on there. Dylan, you had your hand up really quick.
Yeah, I think we're going to get kind of caught up in talking about Seth Kisipli scoring his second ever goal for Orange County, kind of in his hometown again. This man really hates Placer County. And yes, I know they don't play in Placer County, but he just said, "Oh, my family's here. Screw you guys." I also just wanted to point out and kind of commend Bryce Jamieson for being so willing to defend in this game. And constantly tracking back. It's not something that I really picked up at the game because, again, when you're like 5 or 6 drinks deep, you're not, you got to rewatch it. And you do that and you see him consistently running back and making himself, even if the ball is on the other side of the pitch, he's there in case play is switched. He is there as a short option to try and get possession out. I think, honestly, having him just there made this a much tighter game. It does take away that option. If you look up and you see Jack Gurr, but Bryce Jamieson standing 5 yards from him, Jack Gurr's great. Bryce Jamieson is faster. It's that much easier to try and hold the game to being something somewhat competitive when we're getting otherwise played off the pitch.
All right, Larry, again, you've been waiting patiently to say some stuff. I know you have something to say on this match. I'm going to ask you a specific question, but then you can share, answer it and share whatever else you want to share on this. Brad brought up, I believe, Ashton Miles, the amazing, almost goal. I mean, what, 3 inches, shorter? That's going in the back of the net. And we're talking about probably goal of all time for Orange County. When you really look at what it took to get that goal, okay, wrapping his leg backwards behind the defender and using the bottom part of his heel to put that kind of power behind it. So beautiful, so amazing. But unfortunately, it doesn't go in the back of the net. Larry, what are your thoughts on Ashton Miles, debut or start to the season here, getting the start against Sacramento, and then again, share what you think about the match in general?
I'm actually glad you asked me about Ashton because I wanted to talk about him and his performance. There were moments out there on Saturday night where, in watching Ashton, I was just seeing flashes of Kobe Henry. He was playing strong. He made some 18-year-old player mistakes. And hold on, while we got this on film, Seth, what are you doing? What is that celebration? What was that? I don't know. Next time he's on the show, we have to ask him that question. That Ashton wrapping his foot around that right here, that's sick. I mean, if that goes in, yes, that is. We don't even have to talk about any other nominations for goal of the year the rest of the year if that ball goes in. The award show, that award is set. We don't even have to talk about it in November. Overall, Orange County Soccer Club did not play well. They were sloppy. They were giving the ball away. I actually said to Carrie while we were sitting here, I said, I wonder if the pitch is slow because some of our passes were they they weren't pretty. And I thought the team was very sloppy. So Orange County Soccer Club going up there, playing again, I'll repeat myself, playing that poorly and coming out of this game with a point is absolutely a win. And it sends a huge message again to the entirety of USL Championship. If this team can play that piss poorly, just imagine what's going to happen when they're firing all cylinders in 8 weeks. That is a terrifying team. USL Championship, I said it a whole bunch last year. Take notice, be aware, because Orange County Soccer Club's coming, and this is a very, very good soccer team. And Sofiane Jafal, I think that I hope I'm saying his name right as well. I'm pretty sure I got it right. I thought he did terrific in place of Kyle. Do you get a player like Kyle Scott? Man, those are some big boots on a little guy to try and fill. And I thought Sofiane did an excellent job the entire night. He played his position well. He definitely he earned himself some more minutes on the pitch, even when Kyle comes back.
Go ahead, Brad.
I do have one more thing to add. You know, we've been doing some shout outs. I think the most underrated person that we have not talked about right now is Owen Lamb. I know I mentioned that both of our goals came off of set pieces this game. He was running up and down the pitch as well. He was a little anonymous for the first 30 to 40 minutes, I would argue. However, you know, getting goals on corner kicks is difficult enough. You know, getting the ball placed consistently well to have 2 in one game, you know, that's a shout out all of its own, you know, rest of the game aside.
And was anybody else thinking to themselves, Orange County never scores off of set pieces? But last year we had 4 free kicks that we scored on, 2 from Milan, 1 from Brian, 1 from Marcus. And then now our first 2 goals this year are from corners. Well, this is kind of a different club than what we've seen in the past.
Let me just say this too. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, if y'all don't agree with me, but I believe in Orange County SC teams past, we are not really thinking that there's even the possibility of the team fighting to get the point here. I think this team showed a lot of resolve here. And like Larry said, they played pretty poorly and they still were able to come away and get a point on the road in the Sacramento. And like our former host on the show used to always like to say, a point on the road, 3 points on the win. That's sort of a recipe for success in this league. Did I mess it up, Dylan?
Is that what he said? A point on the road, 3 points on a win?
Yeah.
I believe it's
I think that's the way it went.
Win at home, draw on the road.
We get
there
it.
We go. Everyone knew what I was talking about, Dylan. You didn't have to go in and chime in like that.
I just really wanted to. I couldn't help myself.
I would never do that to you. Can I say this? Can I give props to Larry for the question he asked Mr. Colin Shutler last week on our show last week about, hey, if you're not in goal, where are you playing? And I believe the quote is, I'm going to get stick for this from my teammates, but I probably would be a 9 or a 10. That's where I played when my brother was in goal. Can we just all agree and fans, make sure you let the players, let his teammates know that you can't give him stick for that comment ever again. You can't make fun of him for saying he can score goals, that he'd be a number 9 or a number 10, because he proved it. He scored a goal, and it wasn't a simple tap-in goal. It was a legit header goal that he had to really fight for and get in the right position, and he got there. And there was some power behind that header, too. It wasn't just a tap-in header. It was a nice power header into the back of the net, which was beautiful. So props to you, Colin, for that goal. And Larry, props to you for asking that question. It couldn't have been more perfect. We couldn't have written it any better.
Was anybody else terrified watching Marcus tackle him and WWE take him down and just thinking, oh my God, please don't blow out his shoulder, not a celebration. Don't do that.
I was worried that there was a potential injury with that celebration. It looked like it could happen. It was a little scary there. So I'm glad it seems like everyone came out of that without any kind of injuries, except for, I think, Thomas Among looked like he might have had some sort of head injury either in the run up to that play or in the celebration. Who knows? But again,
it was before that.
You know what? Beautiful goal from Colin Shutler. Again, beautiful way to steal a point on the road in Sacramento against, a rival for this team. That's a legit rivalry for Orange County, and we took the points there, or not the points, the point in that match, which was awesome. What else? There was one other thing I wanted to discuss, but now I can't remember. I think we brought up the Kyle Scott missing, which I think that hurt a little bit in there. I think if you have Kyle Scott starting the match in the center, it's a little bit more organized, a little less sloppy. We had a few newer players in there that weren't really as, familiar with the team. When you look at Ashton, although Ashton Miles has been there, but he's never, he's not in that position starting a match like that in center back in a big rivalry match. So, and then you guys talk about Jafal, if I get that right. I think we're all wondering, are we butchering names? Who knows?
Yes.
I butchered it, Dylan.
Well, we all did, but yes. Well, I didn't say it, but yes, we did.
How do we say it, Dylan? You're Mr. French.
Well, it's a Z sound, so it'd be Jeffel. Otherwise,
Jeffel.
we're all there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there we go. That Dylan gave us a lesson here. Thank you, Dylan.
For the record, for everybody, when we sign people, these things are written down. So that's all available. So if we say it wrong, what I'm saying is comment and let us know that we're doing it wrong and make fun of us in the chat, please.
So
everyone that's watching live, listening live, share your thoughts on this. I know you've been doing so already, and our producer Andy will look and see what's going on there. But thank you so much for following along and chiming in with your thoughts of that. While we're at this right now, do we want to do an update on the prediction right now after one match?
I mean, I have it prepared. I did, before we do bring that up, I did want to ask a question, I guess mostly for the group, but I'll ask it to you, Ray, first, because you do most of the question asking for us. So this was the first game that we saw without Milan Olowski as the quote-unquote star goal scorer. And this game we saw Ethan Zubak, Bryce Jamison, Jafal, and then Dunbar and Among coming off the bench. And that appears to be our strategy this game, or so far this season. What are your thoughts on how we're replacing Milan Olowski, and how would you do it differently as a coach yourself, Ray?
I think it's really going to be a work in progress, right? When you look at the team, we're bringing in someone like an Ethan Zubak, who's a proven goal scorer at this level, and he's played at the MLS level. So I think there's something there. I think there just needs to be that time to work him in and him get comfortable with his teammates and figure out the best way to play it. Obviously, we didn't see much out of Ethan in this match, but again, that's something I'm anticipating we will see as the season goes through. I love the idea of Tomas Among coming off the bench and giving Orange County a little punch if we can see that happening. From what we know, right, Sacramento is a pretty solid defensive team, especially in that central part of the defense. So obviously, you're not anticipating Zubak, Among, or even like a Bryce Jamison, Cameron Dunbar to really just have their way against the team. It's really looking for those lucky breaks and those lucky moments. And I think the hope will be is you have Ethan Zubak up there just taking up space and making the defense look at him. And that's going to hopefully open up play for Bryce Jamison or someone like a Brian Olowski to get an opportunity, because the defense might be so focused on an Ethan Zubak in the middle up top, where it's just going to open the space up. We didn't see it in this match, but again, Sacramento is a solid defensive team. So I didn't anticipate Orange County to go in and destroy the defense pretty easily. I think the key thing here is going to be patience. We got to be patient with what Coach Morten Carlson is seeing and how he wants to design this. Now, if we're 15 matches in and we're seeing this same type of output from Ethan or from even Bryce Jamison, we might have to switch things up at that point and see what other options are. But this is, I think, the correct way to go about things. And if anyone else disagrees with me, feel free to chime in.
I don't disagree, but I have a thought on this. Anybody seen the movie Moneyball about the Oakland A's 2002 baseball team? No?
There's no bases in soccer, but please continue.
Jason Giambi left the Oakland A's after the 2001 season. 47 home runs, 130 RBIs, 342 batting average, 477 on base percentage. You can't replace one man like that. There is no other player to just come in and replace that man. So what did the Oakland A's do? They replaced him in the aggregate. And I think that with the combination of Tomas, Ethan, Cameron, Bryce, I think what the team might be looking at doing is replacing Milan in the aggregate. How often do you get a guy who's going to blast 39 goals, regular season goals, in 2 seasons? That's not something you don't just go out and handpick that guy. He doesn't just show up. So in this case, replace him in the aggregate. You need 22 goals? Great. Let's have 4 guys score 6 goals apiece. I'll take that all day. One guy has 10, one guy has 9, another guy has 11, another guy has 8. Colin Shutler has 3. Kasipli has 4. And you've got yourself enough goals to win soccer games. So that's my thought on this. That's a great question, by the way, Brad. It's an outstanding question. You can't just replace a Milan Olaski. It's impossible to do at this level. There aren't that many players like that out there.
Well, I'll give Dylan a quick thought on this, but I just want to say it's also the way it's set up. Orange County has more flexibility to sort of change their tactics based on what their opponent is giving them. So you have different type of players that all can sort of intermingle up there up top. And if you need someone bigger, taller, you have Ethan. If you need someone stronger, you have someone like Thomas Among. If you need some quicker players, you have like Bryce Jamison and Cameron Denbar that can go up there. Dylan, last thoughts on this, and then we're going to move on and look ahead to the next match for Orange County.
Yeah, just want to shout out Matt Elder and his comment here. It is, and I agree wholeheartedly, it's impossible to judge Zubak for this game because we were just like half-heartedly hoofing stuff up the field to get it away from our own 6-yard box. And how much can he really do when he's receiving the ball under pressure, probably marked by 2 center backs, with them playing a 3-4-3? Okay. Amon did a lot more with his, but most of those balls were in behind, and he had a great run as the box for his header. So I think this is a give it some time situation. I'll remind everybody that we basically have the same back line that we did last year, barring an injury, of course. Most of the same midfield, some key additions there, and the biggest loss, obviously up top. That's still going to take some time to get there, and probably not going to have the greatest performance out of a sole striker against 3 center backs, and probably not going to have the greatest performance from a center striker when the rest of the team isn't playing super well.
Perfect. Brad, it looks like you're unmuting for a quick comment.
Well, honestly, this is also the best team in the West Coast last year, and they only got better too. The only person they were missing that really was a scary figure was Russell Cicerone, but the way that Trevor Amon played anyways, definitely they did not miss him that evening. So Orange County, you'll see a lot better in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So Orange County steals a point on the road in Sacramento. Guess what? They have to go on the road again, this time going to the East Coast and traveling out to Pittsburgh. As much as we like to say we know the sport and the league, I don't think any of us are really experts on what Pittsburgh and the Riverhounds are doing on soccer. So we had to reach out, and we found someone willing to stay up late in Pittsburgh to come help us out with this. He is a writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, covers the Riverhounds and a bunch of other sports. I think he's maybe somewhere right now covering sports. Who knows? But that's Mr. Keith Barnes. Keith, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. By the way, I'm covering a high school hockey game tonight, so I'm still at the rink. So in case you see me duck really quickly, it's because a puck's coming at my head. So we're all good.
So first and foremost, make sure you stay safe there with the pucks and make sure none are coming your way. But we appreciate you taking some time to speak with us on this. Obviously, it's early on in the season. I feel like Pittsburgh probably didn't have their best performance either in their opening match. And obviously, we don't really get to, unless Pittsburgh's different, but a lot of the preseason was behind the curtains for Orange County. So obviously, it's probably similar for you out there in Pittsburgh. But based on what you know from the roster, the makeup, and what you saw in that first match, how is Pittsburgh looking early on in this USL 2024 campaign?
This is going to be a very different Riverhounds team than the one that was on the field last year. There's no doubt about it. With free agency and departures, the team lost 6 of its top 7 scorers from last year, including the Golden Boot winner. When you use a guy like Albert Dequa, who scored 20 goals for you, and basically you lost 74% of your scoring from those 6 players who left, you're going to have a hugely different approach as you go into a season. And losing 1-0 last week was not that much of a surprise for me. I think the team is going to take a lot of time before it can generate some offense, and it's going to take time before they get in sync with each other.
What is it that you're seeing from the team early on? What players maybe are looking like the ones that are going to fill in and sort of cover or fill those voids that were left by some of the players that left the team in this offseason?
We kind of look at some of the guys they had last year. You look at Edward Kiza, who was one of the few goal scorers who's still here. You got Junior Etsu back. You got a couple of free agents they brought in. So it's going to be different to see what they have. And of course, you always have Kenny Forbes who can set everything up for them. So this is going to be a kind of feel it out and see what they do offensively as they go along. Now, defensively, this team's always going to be solid. Bob Lilly always has a good defensive team in front. A good defensive game plan. He knows how to make adjustments. He can change the shape, can change his formations. That's what he does best, and that's what they're going to have to rely on early in the season as they move into the rest of the year. And don't forget, also they also lost their goaltender too. Jamali White left, so you're also bringing in Dick's a new goaltender for them. It's going to take a little while for him to adjust. So this is going to be a whole new team, as they only have 11 players back from last year.
Keith, typically Lily Ball, probably pretty familiar to anybody hanging out around the USL for long enough. Very defensive, limiting things going forward. What changes did you see from stereotypical Lily Ball on Saturday night?
It was definitely typical Lily Ball, but the one thing that this team doesn't have is that cohesiveness that last year did. I mean, these guys from last year, there were a lot of players back from the year before. I think they cut a lot of dead weight from the 2022 team. I think there was a little bit of division there. And then last year's team just played together really, really well. And they bought in from the moment they went into camp. And you saw that from the beginning of the year. And what really helped the team was that Open Cup run last year, when they beat the Columbus Crew, when they beat New England, and all of a sudden this team started to believe in themselves, and they played really well the entire season. Of course, one of the few games they didn't was in Orange County. So that's the one thing that Orange County has going for it coming into this matchup. And, defensively, the Riverhounds are going to be good. They're going to be solid. They're going to play their formation. They're going to look to counterattack, and we'll see what happens with that as the season goes on. But it's going to take them a little bit of time before they kind of find their groove.
All right, so we'll hand it over to Larry. Larry, do you have a question for Keith?
Yeah. Hey, Keith, how's it going tonight?
It's going well so far. I'm ducking pucks, so I'm okay.
I'm watching your eyes shoot back and forth, and I don't know if you're a cat chasing lasers or watching for hockey pucks, but either way, be safe. Listen, Pittsburgh obviously was an incredibly strong team last year, and yeah, the one bad game they had in the entire season maybe might have been against us, out here at our house. What is it going to take for them to recoup that success that they had last year? Number one seed in the East. Where do they go to repeat?
It's going to take time. This is a team that's not going to come out and play gangbusters like it did last year. It's just not going to. It's not built that way yet. And it's going to take time for our, 10, 11, 12 new players to really kind of get into the positioning that they need to get into under Bob Lilly's system. That's just the way it is. His system is based on precision more than anything. And, one player slightly out of position, it can turn into a counterattack and a goal. And he knows that as well as anyone that watches the game. So it's going to take time for these players to adjust, to kind of figure out where they fit in, where that spot is they need to be in at that one particular time. And the fact that they only lost 1-0 in their first game is a good sign that they're kind of building it. They're kind of understanding it. They're kind of starting to get a grasp of what he's trying to teach them. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a playoff team. The Riverhounds are a playoff team. It just depends on where they're going to be seated in the East and how far they can go.
All right. So thank you for joining us. My question for you with Pittsburgh Riverhounds, I mean, we can ask you about who's going to be scoring goals until the moon comes in. But unfortunately, I think you've already said enough. We don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly.
However, you did mention that this team was playing pretty well defensively against the New Mexico team, which seemed to, every time they had the ball, they only took 5 shots all game, I think. And all 5 were quality chances. So Pittsburgh, obviously, we've talked about Lilly being a great defensive coach. Who on this team is stepping up most defensively for Pittsburgh, and how is this system working?
I think it's going to go from goal up. I think when you look at this team, you're looking at players like Danny Rivera, who's going to really step up for this team defensively this year. He's a really solid player. And then from the rest of it on out, it's just kind of a mix of who's going to be the guy that night. I think that's until they mesh, that's what they're going to have to do.
Is that all you got, Brad, or do you have another one?
That's all I got for right now.
Let me ask you this really quick, Keith, because I know producer Andy and myself, we were listening to the local podcast out there that covers the Riverhounds earlier today, Mongols, and they posed this question of over under on how long Lilly will keep the players on the pitch after the game if the match doesn't go so well. We all remember, I think, especially us Orange County fans, remember the game here in Orange County. I believe it was like 50 minutes, 60 minutes out on the pitch after the match. And I don't think that was fun for the players, but being that it's early in the season and it's still sort of a new team getting put together here, if it doesn't go well for Pittsburgh, what do you put the over under at for Lilly keeping the players after the match on the pitch?
25 minutes.
25 minutes. Even though it's
either way.
Even if it's the home opener and there's going to be fans waiting to high five and it's going to be a celebration, he doesn't care. He's going to keep them out there.
No, he's not going to keep them out there. They're going to be out there signing autographs for 20 minutes after the game. That's just what they're going to do. I don't think he's going to keep. I don't think he's going to keep them out there that long, especially with the home opener. It's going to be, if anything, he's going to have a discussion with them in the locker room after the game. But immediately following, they're going to sign autographs, things like that, and they will go inside. So he's not going to keep them on the pitch that long. So that's why I said 20 minutes tops.
And y'all are
that was a loaded answer.
Y'all are anticipating a sellout for this match, right? Or at least close to it.
Absolutely. The Riverhounds have never sold out a home opener before. So this is the first time.
And you know what? Even though we're opponents, that's beautiful for the league to see these teams, building fan bases and growing and year over year showing more support from the home fans. It's beautiful to see.
Oh, absolutely. The Riverhounds, I think, set their attendance record 4 or 5 times last year for USL games, including the last game in the playoffs. I think it was 6,134 or something like that was their home attendance record. And they set the all-time record when they played Columbus at home in the Open Cup Championship playoffs. So this team, there's a draw here, and the team knows it, the city knows it, and it's just a question of cultivating it for everybody in the community.
Keith, to go along with a question kind of off the playing field, and a question from one of our viewers, what are you expecting to see? Obviously, your club president, Jeff Garner, was Orange County's club president at one point. So,
yes, he was.
What are you expecting to see in terms of entertainment at the stadium? And to add on to Russell's question, how have things changed in the year and a half since Jeff took over?
Well, I think you're seeing a lot more promotional nights. That's one thing. I know Saturday they're going to have the Players Shield banners are going to be given out to the first 1,000 fans. So that'll be a nice little perk for them. There's some bobblehead all nights. They have a few concerts, things like that set up. So the entertainment value is up there, and they have like a local celeb nights. Some players maybe from the Pittsburgh Penguins show up, or even former players from the Riverhounds have shown up. And it's the 25th anniversary of the team this year. So there's going to be a lot of hoopla around them. And they've got new kits this year. So that'll be interesting as well.
All right. So I do have one. This is a little off topic. We like to go a little off topic from time to time, but
I'm good with that.
It's got to be almost midnight out there. What high school district does hockey this close to midnight on the East Coast?
It's actually it's the district playoffs this week. There's 3 classifications, and they play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. And the first game tonight was at 7:15. The second game was at 9:15. So they didn't get off the ice until almost 11:45. So I was right on the money when you guys wanted to talk to me. I was like, okay, good. I'm still gonna be at a hockey game, so it's all good here.
Can I just say, hopefully the teachers give these kids a break tomorrow when they're exhausted and tired and heading to English class and didn't do their homework or whatnot because they were playing in the district playoffs.
Hell, most of them are probably here, to be honest. They're really well. hockey here is really well attended. They probably had about 2,000 for each game. So this is hockey's a huge sport in the city of Pittsburgh, and it's only growing over the last 25 years.
Okay. Hey, Keith, I'm going to go a little bit off topic. Brad's
not that Hurricanes jersey, man. No. if you're going to pull out a jersey from that, you need to pull out the Whalers jersey.
He's from North Carolina, so he gets a break there.
Well, no, he can pull out the Hurricanes jersey. That's fine, but you got to go to the Classic before they move to Raleigh, and you got to pull out the Whalers jersey because
I was born and raised in Raleigh, so.
I've been to Raleigh. I used to cover the Pittsburgh Penguins back in the day. So, and I traveled, and Raleigh was one of those places I went to. So I've been there for a game before.
So Keith, I have one other question that's a little bit off topic as well. It's about to turn into the orange and black baseball cast. Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens, local Southern California boy. Have you seen him throw yet?
I saw him throw a little bit in the preseason. It's a huge point of debate on him being sent on to the minors to start the year. So from what I've seen of his velocity and what he's able to do on the mound and the fact that he's coming out of a great program at LSU, I don't think he's going to be in the minors for very long. I could see him as a midseason call-up. I could see him as a very early season call-up. It depends on how quickly he progresses to AAA, but he's looked really good in the spring so far.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he absolutely.
Larry, you open up this baseball thing. I have to ask a cool question too. This is personally because my brother played with this guy at La Mirada High School a few years ago, and that's Jared Jones. How's he looking in the Pittsburgh system?
Progressing. Let's just say that.
Progressing. I just had to know. It's just the personal. I remember watching him in high school. He looks special, so hopefully he's working his way up. Who knows? Really quick, before we let you head out, we need to get a match prediction if you're willing to do so on this upcoming match, Pittsburgh and Orange County.
I'm always willing. To throw a prediction out. Honestly, I'm gonna say a 0-0 draw. I think the Penguins. Oh my God, I'm thinking hockey. See what you made me do. I think when you get the Riverhounds defense at home in front of that crowd, I think they're gonna be hyped up. I'm still not sold on the offense yet at this point in time. And with the cross-country trip from Orange County, I can just see this being a 0-0 tie, which at this point in time for the Riverhounds would be a good stepping stone.
Hey, just keep it 0-0 and give us a corner kick in the 95th minute, and we'll be happy.
Sounds good to me. As long as it ends on time, that's all I care about.
Really quick before you head out, if our viewers, listeners want to find out or hear more from you, where do they go? Where can they hear more from Keith Barnes?
You can follow me on Twitter at kbarnes_PGHSPRT, or you can follow me on postgazette.com. That's POST-GAZETTE.com.
Awesome. Well, Keith, I want to just thank you again. I know you were already busy, so it worked out perfectly, but I want to thank you for taking some late time in your day to join us and help us preview this Pittsburgh Orange County match. We're looking forward to it, and I hear you're probably going to be at that match, so enjoy the experience.
I will be there.
And hey, folks, if you need, maybe he'll be live tweeting at the match, maybe, and giving you some updates there. I don't know. Who knows?
I always do. So I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you, Keith. And hopefully we'll get to talk to you again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate the time.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, it's awesome when we can get some mixture of guests, right? Because we have a lot of players and stuff from the league. We get a lot of fellow podcasters on this show, but from time to time we actually get some non-podcasters on here that are willing to help spread the knowledge. And it's always really helpful because obviously, as much as we want to, it would not be a fun preview of the Orange County Pittsburgh match if we're the only ones covering it and talking about it. It's nice to have a voice that actually knows the opponent a little bit there. Let me go to you guys really quick. Quick thoughts on the match and score predictions for what's going to go on here. So you can just give us a quick 30-second, 45-second thought on the match and what your prediction is for the score. Dylan, we'll go to you first.
I feel like this is a game that's going to be won on the break. 1-1 Orange County. Well, I guess there's no winner, right? Unless Colin Shutler scores in the 95th minute again, in which case 1-1 Orange County.
And he would be the first goal scorer of the match too for Orange County, which would be bonus point last year. Let me go to you, Brad. Your thoughts on this upcoming match? Prediction from you.
So my thoughts on this match is, this isn't your Riverhounds dominant team that we've seen over the past couple of years. Most of their scoring options have gone elsewhere, and I don't believe they've replaced with enough quality to really give me the idea that they'll score this game. I think that they still need to work on it. I know Orange County is also not in the same spot when it comes to scoring. However, I do trust our defense a little bit more than I can trust theirs. I'm going to say it's a 1-0 Orange County win.
Larry, what about your thoughts?
Actually, Karen just literally stole the exact words that I was going to say. Orange County steals a point, 1-1.
So,
or 0-0, one of the two. I haven't decided fully yet.
I've been nice this season. I haven't been bringing up certain teams that I like to talk about a lot on our episodes, but I don't know. Can I do it here? Because there is a former Tottenham player that's on the Pittsburgh roster, Keziah Sterling. I was listening to the Mongol show earlier today, and there's thoughts that he's going to appear, and he's hopefully going to make an impact for this team. A proven scorer in League One. We saw with Sacramento last week, a proven goal scorer in League One, hurting Orange County, and hopefully the same thing doesn't happen this week, but I'm worried about it if that is in fact the case. But we'll see. I'm looking for, because Pittsburgh is still figuring themselves out early in the season, I'm hoping this is a good opportunity for Orange County to steal all 3 points on the road. Probably a few months down the road, this wouldn't be a good match for Orange County because Pittsburgh would have found themselves and figured things out. And we all know Lily is pretty good at building a team, but we got to figure it out right now. They're still figuring themselves out. Orange County can steal the 3 points on the road. I'm going to say 2-0 Orange County for this match. Perfect. So we've gone through the Sacramento draw, or as we like to call it, a win because we stole the point on the road. We've previewed Pittsburgh, Orange County this upcoming weekend. Let's move away from Orange County just a little bit here, from at least Orange County Soccer Club, but we're still going to talk about soccer in Orange County because our next guest that we're going to bring on just recently led his Servite Boys soccer team to the CIF Southern Section Championship, and they won. And that's the head coach for Servite Boys Soccer. That's Mr. Eddie Soto. Eddie, welcome to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How are things going?
Great. How you guys doing? I've been listening to your podcast. It's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for that. And we appreciate your support and listening. And we, let me say congratulations on the Southern Section Championship for Servite. I believe you guys are in Division 2, correct?
No, CIF Southern Section, we were Division 1.
Oh, Division 1. So,
and then for the state, we were Division 2.
Oh, okay. So that's the way that all worked out. I apologize for having that incorrect, but congratulations on that. Tell us a little bit how the season went for you guys there at Servite, and how did you coach this team to some success this season? What did you do that got the boys to play at the level they were able to?
Well, this is my 4th year coaching at Servite. In the 4 years, we've won CIF twice, and we won state twice, and we won our Trinity League once. So a lot of hardware in the 4 years. Really proud of that. Obviously, for high school soccer, it's really competitive. The league is really competitive. I'm just really fortunate to be around really good kids and good parents and helping these kids achieve their goals of reaching another level. So this year's season was no different. You know, we're always competitive, and we got in a really good groove and got hot when we needed to. Right at the end of the season, we won 8 straight, and like I said, that led us to a CIF title and a state championship.
And I know you and I talked a little bit earlier today, and we were mentioning that how if you can go on a run at the right time, the beauty of soccer is it's one match. All you need is that one win in that match, and you move on in those types of scenarios. And congratulations on your team doing so. Can you share with us just, some of the names maybe Orange County soccer fans might be on the lookout for in the near future? Some of the players maybe that succeeded there on your team that are maybe going to move on to something bigger and better here in the near future?
Well, in the last few years, like I said, I've been here for 4 years. There's a lot of great talent that's come out of Servite High School that not only has gone on to play in college, but also in MLS and USL Championship. Recently, we had the Gatorade Player of the Year, who by the name of Eddie Valleda, who went off to UC Santa Barbara. He's going to be a junior this year. But in regards to this season, we have an Orange County player by the name of Justin Cuevas. He plays for a local Patty Doris soccer club. Same with our goalkeeper, Talon Morgan, who's also plays for the Patio Doors, and both who will be going on to college here come the fall, with Talon going to UC Davis and Justin moving on to Concordia there in Irvine. So every year we get some talented young men who not just do really well in the classroom, but they're very talented soccer players, and we see a lot of kids move on to the next level.
Hey, Coach. I'm Larry. I'm down here at the bottom, the guy with the big beard. You and I kind of grew up in the very, very nearby neighborhoods. I know you went to Cerritos High, class of 91.
90, yeah.
90. Okay, so you're a couple years younger than me. I'm St. Paul, class of 88.
All right.
Given the St. Paul Servite old rivalry, it's very painful for me to cheer on Servite, but you got a player on your team who I happen to be a big fan of, and that is Parker Buteau. He's a great kid, and his dad's a good guy, and his dad's a big fan of the of our team and the show. But my question is in regards to a St. Paul Servite clash on the soccer pitch. Who wins today?
Oh, of course, Servite. That's a no-brainer. You know, we in our last 8 games we've scored 22 goals and we've given up only 3. Of those 3, 2 of them were PKs. So I don't think anyone wanted to play us there towards the end of the season. You know, we like I said, everything was clicking, and you know, as you guys were talking about your podcast with Orange County, you know, it's the beginning of your season. For us, it was towards the end, and you know, we had some bumps in the road early on, but you know, the guys kind of learned through that and got hot when we needed to. So, you know, I was looking forward to hopefully playing Mater Dei and getting, you know, a chance to beat them. And unfortunately, we didn't get that opportunity, but, you know, we did what we needed to do. We won hardware.
Given that I was a basketball player actually in high school and got my backside handed to me for 4 years by Mater Dei, I will cheer for Servite over Mater Dei every day of the week.
Hey, so. That's great. Great. Well, listen, I got a fun fact for you guys. I don't know if you know this, but I played for Orange County Zodiac back in the day. If you're familiar, back in the day before the Orange County Soccer Club was we had the Orange County Blues, and then you had before that the Orange County Zodiac in the A-League. So I'm a big fan of the club. Obviously I played. I was an all-star. So I love what you guys are doing.
Awesome. So thanks again, Coach Soto. My question for you, this is Brad, by the way. My question for you is, obviously high school is not a place where players can stay very long. So it's your job to help guide them to one of the next 2 stages, which is either professional or to the collegiate level. What's your philosophy in terms of guiding each player, whether it be individually or just as your own personal philosophy of what's best for the player?
Well, listen, my background is over 22 years coaching college. So my full-time job is a college coach. I've been at places like UCLA. I actually coached Brian Liowski as a youth player with the LA Galaxy Academy. Also, I had him with me at UCLA. I coached the University of San Francisco, where I had Hashish Chata before I left to come to Dominguez. He then transferred to, you know, UC Davis. So I'm very well connected within the Southern California soccer market, so to speak. But you know, it's always about the same, is really trying to produce a really competitive environment on the field and getting the kids to buy in and adapt to what they could see moving on into college or the professional ranks. You know, I remember Brian as a youth player, extremely talented, but it was always working on that speed of play. You remember, you know, Brian's still pretty much the same size he was when he was with us at UCLA, but he's so fast upstairs. His mind is so quick, you know. And also his brother, you look at his brother with Milan, you know, they're just incredible players who've really developed over the years, whether it was from high school to club to college and then college to the pro rank. So it's all about environment and being in the right environments. And that's what we try to provide at Servite.
Coach, you've mentioned quite a bit of time now talking about development. In terms of developing your players off the field, where does your responsibility lie with turning these boys into men, and how do you feel responsible for developing them off the pitch?
Well, you know, as somebody who's a byproduct of the system, you know, I was part of the Orange County soccer scene. I won national championships. I played in the A-League. I played in MLS. I played in college. It's providing them the understanding of what it takes. You're going to fail. You're going to succeed. You're going to have highs. You're going to have lows. You're going to doubt yourself, right? And it's always keeping that line of communication and understanding, having them have an understanding that, I always say complacency hinders progress. Is never feel too good about what you're doing and always trying to push through that ceiling, because these kids have aspirations of going D1, going D2, making Orange County, going to the next level, right? And as somebody who's done it and had a lot of success doing it, it's thrilling to provide that platform for them and seeing those kids who actually excel.
Away from soccer entirely, you're a Southern California product kind of through and through. You came up when the music scene maybe in Southern California was kind of at its peak. Do you have a favorite, band from Southern California growing up, favorite band from Orange County or LA?
Social Distortion, no doubt. I went to Cal State Fullerton and Gwen Stefani was there. When I was playing, she was actually there. So it was really cool to see, that. I grew up, I have a brother who's 4 years older, so I was really into a lot of, K-rock music, the Plimsolls and the Specials, you name it. So for me, I got my hat here and
Nice.
Yeah. So it's music plays a big part of my life, I'd like to say that I was around in a great era.
One final one. Do you have any love for the Adolescents as a band?
No, that's your favorite group, right?
I have no dog in this race. I just wanted to get your opinion there.
Well, listen, hey, as long as it makes me want to move, I'm good with it. So, yeah.
Let me just throw in a quick question, because you've been part of this scene for a long time. How exciting has it been to see the atmosphere of obviously the club soccer has always been really competitive in Orange County. High school soccer has always been really competitive, but the professional aspect of soccer has grown. You're seeing Orange County Soccer Club pulling in 5,000 fans to Championship Soccer Stadium continuously nowadays, which isn't something even going back 3 or 4 years you didn't see a lot of. How exciting is it as a part of the soccer community to see that grow and those opportunities, teams like Orange County and other local teams providing opportunities for some of these players that are looking at those dreams of where they can go? How does the growth of soccer in Orange County look to you?
Wow.
How does it impact you?
Like I told you, I played in the A League, and it was about 97, 98. So to see where we're at in Orange County is incredible. Being a part of Orange County, being a part of Cal State Fullerton, we went to a Final Four. We won a national championship with the team out of Orange County as a youth player. The league is grown so much. I have a lot of friends who are coaching within the league. I think it's an incredible opportunity for these kids now, because when I was growing up, I finished college. The league was supposed to start in 95, and then it moved in 96. And, these guys have optimum amount of opportunities now just here based in Southern California, right? With all the different avenues, whether it's the NISA League, whether it's the championship, whether it's MLS Next Pro or MLS. So, in the venue you guys have, the location you guys have, it's a destination, I love coming to the games. I love seeing a lot of family, a lot of friends. Like I said, I'm Orange County. I've been here my whole life, and I just hope to continue to see it grow and grow.
Awesome. Lastly, any piece of advice for those students or those young soccer players? Maybe they're, at the U12, U10 level. What's your advice to them to continue to grow and maybe one day play for Servite or their local high school team? What if you had 30 seconds to tell them your best advice?
Listen, I think something that U.S. soccer has kind of got away from, and I told you I was part of the DA with MLS with the Galaxy. It's winning is development, and I think we've kind of got away from that a little bit at the youth game, right? You have all these showcases, and you have to learn to win, and that's part of development. And these kids have to understand. Parents have to take a little bit of a back seat and have more trust in the process, especially when they have people who are leading, who've done it, know what it takes. So I guess what I'm going to say is for these kids to keep hammering down on the fundamentals, but keep competing. Everything you do, you want to win.
Awesome. Any last word before we let you head out and enjoy the rest of your evening?
No, I appreciate you guys having me, and good luck to you guys this weekend in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys coach for Servite High School, also coach at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and that's Mr. Eddie Soto. Eddie, thank you for taking some time to speak with us. We appreciate it, and we're glad we're able to give some love to other local soccer. Obviously, we're Orange County SC podcast, but we like to give props to the other levels of soccer in and around us. So we appreciate you taking some time.
Hey, thanks, guys. You have a good night.
Awesome. Thank you. That's going to wrap up our show. But before we do so, we got to just go around the table and share what we learned in this episode. I'm going to go first just to make sure no one steals what I'm going to share that I've learned. I learned that Orange County, the scheduling worked out well for them, and they're taking on Pittsburgh when is probably the best time of the whole season to take on Pittsburgh this coming weekend. So that is what I learned today, because Pittsburgh isn't quite there yet. Dylan, what about you?
I learned that the three of you seem to not realize that it's actually called the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and got confused that it was a hockey or a baseball podcast for 5 minutes.
Brad?
I'm going to rebuke Dylan's point by saying it astonishes me that kids are playing hockey at 1:45 to midnight East Coast time.
They love that hockey in Pittsburgh, huh? Larry, what did you learn in this episode?
Je fall.
Just one word. Look at Dylan loved it.
C'est trop bien, Larry.
Yes, whatever you said, Dylan. I want to do this. I want to thank everyone. Or does anyone have a random thought that they wanted to really share? Brad, you have one.
Yeah, Swiper the Fox. I mean, the ML dollar signs are coming out again in full force. Last year, we notably covered the LA Galaxy 2 trying to kind of weasel their way into Championship Soccer Stadium. This year, it appears the new test market for MLS to kind of weasel their way into a successful team is in Oakland. This time, the Town FC is announced today that they are now the affiliate MLS Next Pro team for San Jose. But hopefully we see over time that venture also fails, and that MLS hopefully starts to learn that they can't just go into the markets of teams that are very successful in their own right. Oakland is very successful in their own market, and try to steal that land.
Anyone else?
Well, I think we should all offer one. Larry's not going to offer one, but I'm just going to offer one. How much longer do you think daylight savings time is really going to happen? And let us know in the comments, or shoot me an email.
When does it go till like November or October? So probably 6 months.
That's on me for answering a bad question.
Larry, you don't have one?
Yeah, a random thought. Not all that random. An 85-mile-an-hour fastball fouled straight back off of your face mask will, in fact, give you a concussion.
Did it knock any sense into you?
It knocked a whole bunch of sense out of me is what it did.
All right, it's time to wrap this thing up, because now we're getting to the nonsense here. Glad you're doing okay, by the way, Larry. I want to thank everyone, all of the viewers and listeners, everyone that participated in this episode by the comments, or anyone that listens after the fact. Thank you for doing so. Also, our guests for today, I appreciate. That was Coach Eddie Soto from Servite, and also the gentleman from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Mr. Keith Barnes. Thank you, producer Andy. For some reason, I wanted to say Ashley Barnes, and I knew that was not correct. That's someone else. But I appreciate y'all for doing so, for joining us. Also, Dylan, Brad, Larry, and producer Andy, thank you so much. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We are out.